All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to do an update on my node and workers setup, because every now and then I change everything around based on what I'm doing, and some nodes become more valuable or less valuable just based on the economy, I guess. But usually it's mostly the same, like which timbers, ores, and all this stuff. Saps are generally the most expensive. Everyone knows that. But just in case you guys wanted to see what I use in particular, happy to show you all. And it's not really a secret when people ask. It's just like I linked them to a video, so might as well make an updated one. So with that said, I think it might be easier to go region by region, like Balenos, because it's a starter zone followed by Serendia and everything. So I guess we'll look at it this way. When we're here in Balenos, generally there's a lot of ores and timbers, but I'll talk about some of the nodes that I think are notable. So I guess the best way to show you guys this is probably like this, because it's a little bit easier to see instead of if I'm showing you all of this. Like, it's probably actually extra confusing. So yeah, it's probably easier to show it to you like this. Okay, so from Velia, we have all these connected. I think the notable ones right now are going to be like the iron and copper, just because they added another method of going for tier 10 horses. Like, you know, the mythical sensor thing you have to make. There's like 3 different ways to make them now. The new one with the copper and tin ingots is a new way. Is it the most effective or like efficient silver to materials? No, I don't think so. I think that one's actually the worst. But people have a lot of copper and are just kind of dumping it that way. So, I mean, if you have a lot of it, most of us have like probably millions of copper at this point. You might as well turn it into ingots and sell it. So, with that said, iron and copper always very valuable. The next ones, I think, are probably the most important ones in the Balenos area, is probably the chicken meat and the eggs. So the reason why we do that is chicken meat is used for contribution points. Contribution points are used for, obviously, making more nodes, workers, housing, and everything. So generally, if you want to do like basic cooking for the byproduct materials, making chicken meat is the way to go. So you take the chicken meat and then you turn it into grilled bird meat. That's why I have like almost 1 million. Will I ever use all of this in the rest of my BDO career? Probably not, but you use it anyway, and you're mostly going for the contribution. So the next thing we have is more copper over here, and spirit leaves are kind of worth a little bit. I guess it depends if you do alchemy at all, but timbers are usually very valuable. Whether you sell them straight to the market, or like you make crates and then trade them in, or you just upgrade it to sell it and you're power leveling your processing. Yeah, I think timbers and copper, or like timbers, ores, saps are generally worth a lot. So yeah, that's another sap node. These two potatoes, I mean, you can make beer with it, so whatever. I know the same thing as chicken meat. But yeah, eggs, sometimes eggs actually go up a lot, and sometimes they're not. But I guess it depends which cookers cooking are doing whatever that day. But either way, if you're just trying to get a lot of CP and for basic byproducts, the chicken meat node over here and over here are the important ones. So we have a few over here, and here are some important ones that I want to talk about, because not everyone actually knows this, especially if you're a new player. So over here, you're going to see excavation nodes. And if you don't see it, it's because you have to go to the node manager. So like the icon marked as like blue. And then you talk to them, and then you basically pay 50 energy. And then it unlocks a node, which unlocks traces. So traces are very valuable, because if you do a lot of elixir crafting or endgame alchemy, basically, you're going to need a lot of traces in general. So I think it's very important to have. But that's more into Serendia. I just wanted to make that as a quick note. Copper and more timbers, very valuable. The excavation node here is Trace of Earth. I personally don't think that Ascension and Earth traces are that valuable these days because the Ulukita area kind of gives them out pretty regularly now, just from like grinding the higher end spots. So all the people at the end game are grinding those spots and then dumping the traces. So if you need them, that's good. But if you're trying to sell them, it's not so good. But either way, like if you use them for yourself, then by all means, it's worth having. So I think those are the notable ones over here. More ores around here. The mushrooms I don't particularly need. I just kind of have it because I used to do alchemy and I just left a node there. But yeah, the most important ones: chicken, ores, saps, timbers. That's kind of everything, but I talked about the notable ones. All right, so here's a screenshot, or you guys can see what I have for Serendia or Heidel area. So first of all, this one used to be very valuable. We have cooking honey. Now, it depends on how much you do cooking, because sometimes they go up in price a lot, sometimes it doesn't. And so cooking honey, there's only, I think, like 2 or 3 nodes that actually give it. Otherwise, you're going to have to be like doing the hunting for the bee thingies around the area. So you might as well just get the node. I think you can actually just buy it off the market nowadays, but like 6 years ago, you couldn't. But that's why I have it. So let's see. Yeah, cooking honey. It's not that bad now. It used to be. Sometimes it goes up, so it's not the worst node you can get. More iron over here. If you need more copper, you can put one into here. But you kind of do already get a lot of copper, so you don't need all of them, but a few of them would be nice to have. Next thing we have is more timbers. This is always good. These are just kind of like wheat, flax, and everything. Do you need it? Not really. Do you want to make more CP by cooking and getting the byproducts? Yes, they're good. So I think in this area, the excavation right here, Trace of Savagery is actually very valuable. If you don't think you need it now, you probably will eventually. And it's for, I think, certain elixirs. And it's just hard to get. So these are the ones that have a lot of orders on it. And let me just give you an idea. Trace of Savagery. Yeah, these are permanently... Well, I mean, you can get them, but there's always orders on it at max price compared to other traces. So like these, you can find out which ones are the rare ones based on how many are sitting on the market, basically. So remember when Trace of Memory used to be a lot? Ulukita kind of killed that, so the higher end areas. All right, so for the Glish area, the notable ones right here is a Trace of Origin and Platinum ore. Platinum is very important. You should probably put a worker on this node as soon as possible. So it's Trace of Origin, but Platinum is something that you want, especially if you're going for tier 10 materials. So yeah, this is a slow going one, but I think it's a very high value node. Aside from that, everything else is like timbers and saps. I don't think this one is important at all. More iron ore. And down here we have more pine timbers. Generally, timbers are something I like to have. These 2 nodes right here, it's kind of an expensive like connection because these are like 5 or actually 3 each. So I don't think this is worth having as a newer player. It's kind of like if you have a lot of CP at extra, you might as well. But generally, these are double timbers, and birch timber is actually worth a lot. Pine, it's kind of going down, but at least get the birch one. That one's worth a lot. So going into the Calpheon area, we changed a few things up. So I actually used to have more nodes in the Calpheon area, but what I still have is Northern Wheat Plantation. We have barley and wheat because it's kind of like the chicken meat in a way. So if you want more contribution, that's the way to go. We have Old Dandelion and Karudo Cave over here for more birch timbers. We talked about that's a lot. Tin. Tin is a material that you're going to need if you decide you want to go for tier 10 horses. And it's one of those materials you just kind of have to either make the ingots or like the more expensive one. I forgot what it's called. Let's go look that up right now. Tin. yeah, pure tin crystals. There's a lot of orders, so you might want to just have that node on so you can make it yourself in case you ever need it. And then up here, we have the breed tree for more birch. A lot of these are, you know, not super high value, but it's something you would get if you actually need it. Down in Portaferia, I kind of just take these nodes out whenever I need them and put them back when I have like the one extra. So these are usually fish nodes, and the reason why I have them is back in the day, making like good feed for your, like, it's pet food basically, was very hard to get, and getting it off the market used to be very difficult. Nowadays, I don't even think it's a problem. I think you can even buy feed off the vendors nowadays. But yeah, if you wanted to make yours like a while ago, then you would have to get the materials and like all the dried fish. This is literally years of just node harvesting on various various things, and then yeah, if you wanted to make pet food, you have to use these by yourself. So yeah, that's why I have it. Are these relevant? Probably not. Not in 2024. It's not. Down in Keplan, we have exactly one node, and that is coal. As you guys know, making coal into steel is worth a lot, but just coal is used in general. And this one down here in the Trent area, I think this is more of a setup that isn't really for beginners. It's more for people who have a lot of CP. So what do we have? We have the Trent Forest for the fir timber. And down here we have cedar. For cedar is actually worth a lot, so are spirit leaves. So these are like 8,000 each. Sometimes they fluctuate between like 5,000 to 20,000 each leaf. I guess it depends on what's happening that month for which people are doing alchemy. But cedar timbers are worth a lot, and so are like pine and fir. And you just either use it or you sell it. So cedar sap is actually one that's kind of annoying to get or like gather yourself. So if you do a lot of alchemy, you're kind of going to probably get this all yourself. And yeah, you get them from this one over here. And then what I have connected down in Marie Cave. I personally don't think this connection from Behr all the way down to Marie Cave is really that worth it. It's just kind of the things that I picked because it was worth a lot at the time. But ghost mushrooms and pine sap. All right, so going down into the Grana area, I actually changed my Grana nodes a lot because I was actually going for the forest wagon path, and I've been going at this for like a month, and I have all the materials, but I just never really bothered to do that a lot. So this is basically our progress on the forest node, or no, the forest wagon. And I'm not actually sure how many like workers you can put on it. I assume as many, but yeah, I should probably feed them again. Have 5 of them going. All right, so yeah, this is basically what it looks like. We're just kind of going at it, and it'll finish when it finishes. I'm not like in a rush for it. I just kind of want to say made one eventually. So I have all the materials, just got to get it done. And connecting to it, we have Loopy Tree Forest and Tooth Fairy Forest. Excavation, Trace of Forest. I personally don't think Trace of Forest is worth as much as it used to be, but it is actually used a lot in materials. Loopy, timbers, saps, and planks. I think I had a use of it a while ago, but there's nothing really now, so it's just kind of building up. And then a lot of saps. So yeah, just kind of had this node running for a while. But also at the same time, when I was going for my Debo neck, I had Ash Forest, and that's why we had a lot of this connected as well. So yeah, that's about it. An Old Wisdom Tree, we have it connected down up into this area down in Thornwood. And for Thornwood, we have the valuable one, which is Thornwood Sap, which is, I think, basically permanently sold out because it makes those high-end elixirs, and it's hard to get. But also, I have a full connection, which I should probably somehow, like, reconnect. But I've been grinding Crypt of Resting Glots a lot, so I actually need this node connected. Plus, we have the node for massive pure magic. Well, I don't need the massive pure magics, but I do need to trace the battles. Those are very important. So down here in Odraxia, you know how we talked about chicken meat and eggs? Yeah, we still got that going because we need another one. Thornwood sap, very important. You want to have that one. And so you see, this is my like elixir factory basically. And we just make things every now and then. And we need to collect a lot of thornwood sap. I think, was it thornwood or cedar? It might have been cedar sap that was the more valuable one. But either way, like I use all of them. So I don't sell them either way. I don't think this is as important. Like if I were to take this one out, I don't need potatoes, but it's like, why not? It's already connected anyway. And the highlight down over here is probably the Olin's Valley node for the nickel and mithril. And mithril is actually something that you use, but it doesn't give you a lot of it. So it's kind of something that I think might be something that's good, but you kind of have to know what you're doing for the investment. So like, yeah, nickel, as you guys can see, is like 7,000 each on the ore, and then 65k on mithril. You probably shouldn't sell it. You should probably know what you're doing with it and then use it. So yeah, these two nodes are very valuable. Let's see, where else? In the Duvencrune area, I just have this over here for mithril and trace of memory. Trace of memory used to be worth more, now it's not, but mithril is still worth a lot. So down here, we have like 2,500 of them. This node has been going on for years, and that's about it. So if you need mithril, I think this is the node to get. Whereas this one is kind of scuffed, actually. Like, it doesn't give a lot, but I think this one gives more. All right, so down into Mountain of Eternal Winter, Eilton, what we have connected is the Zvir Highlands, because we want cooking honey, and Trace of Death. I used to have that, but I don't particularly need it anymore, but it is a good one to have. Mountain Treetop is the birch timber. It's a valuable node. And down in Jade Starlight Forest, we have Rough Jade and Snowfield Cedar. So basically it looks like this. The Rough Jade, if you know what you're doing with it, it's valuable. If you don't know what you're doing with it, every 10,000 is like 80 mil, so free money. And Snowfield timber is worth a lot, and the sap is worth a lot. So make sure to put this one on, even if you don't use it. You're gonna need it eventually. So yeah, pretty valuable nodes over here. If anything, I would try to pick up this node and these two down in the Jade Starlight Forest. Plus, anyone, like, I guess in the intermediate level going into endgame, you're probably going to have to grind this area anyway, because if you're going for your Labresca helmet, you're going to have to grind out the flames and embers. So yeah, these things, you get 100 of them, and good luck. Get your Labresca helmet, and I hope you get Tet easily. And then after this, we have like the Citron things right here, because I personally don't use it, but they are a node that's worth more than your average node. So I figured if I ever just need to sell it, I'll just sell it. Okay, so might as well just talk about the Ulukita one right now, because there's not much to talk about. So Ulukita doesn't particularly have any worker nodes. It's more like you're investing into the areas because you're going to grind there and you want the drop rate. So here are the ones you want to connect if you are grinding for their telescope, or, you know, those things that you upgrade your fail stacks for, the Origin of Dark Hunger. So if you're going for City of the Dead, this is obviously the node you want to upgrade your loot trance. If you want Tungrad Ruins, it's actually not. Wait, hold on. It's over here in the Tungrad Ruins one. I used to grind the Wilds, but it's still the Tungrad Ruins node, and that's why I kind of had 11, and then they made the change. So Tungrad Ruins is the one you want for there. Dark Seeker's Retreat, obviously, at 20, and the new area, the Highlands, is down here. So yeah, if you're grinding there, make sure to invest in the nodes because some of the items there are big ticket items. Okay, so Tarif, we're going into the Altinova, Mediah area. So this one is a kind of a mixed bag. It's nodes that I would recommend to you get if you actually need it, not just pick it up because I picked it up. So here are the ones that I think are important. Cotton is worth a little bit. So where is it? Dude, this storage is a mess and I don't even know why. So cotton over here, it's worth a little bit. It'll sell if you just sell them. You can have more cotton nodes over here. The highlight, well, actually, hold on. Anything past, let's say there's an invisible line from Tarif, like if you put a line from Tarif down, anything to the left, I think is mostly connected to Tarif, including these. But anything to the right of Tarif is Altinova connected. So the ones you would want to get here, probably this one for the opals. Do I think it's an important one? Not so much anymore because both of these traces like you can just buy off the market, but opal is still worth a little bit. Zinc ore is actually very valuable, and for some reason it's just worth a lot, so you might want to get it. And the highlights over here are a white cedar, and there's basically the saps and timbers. So if you want to see what they look like right here. So I have almost 1 million of them. Will I ever process 1 million of them? Probably not, but in case I want to power level my processing to Guru 50 one day, that's one way to do it. All right, so let's go to Altinova. It's probably going to be all of these connected. So we have these. These are very important. So coal and zinc ore. Platinum ore, highlight of it. So this one, if you get anything, it's this one right here. Because platinum and zinc are very valuable. Down here we have abandoned iron mines. So zinc and iron, very valuable in my eyes. And these over here, I think it's just a meme right now. Like the elder tree timber and the planks and sap. I just want to see the big number go bigger. We actually just reached over 2 million elder tree timber. And will I ever process all 2 million of it? Probably not. But if I ever decide I want to, go to Guru 50. There's 2 million of them for me to do. But unfortunately, I like playing the game instead of AFK processing. So next time we make this update, it might bigger number is just getting bigger. Okay, so one thing I have down here in Pilgrim's Haven is the iron ore, and it's connected to sand grain, and so more iron ore is always good. What I used to have back in the Shikatu area was the fig nodes, because these are low-key very valuable until people figured it out. So I used to be making like hundreds of million just off figs until people figured all of that out, and then it is no longer hundreds of million, but we have extras in them. It is actually a node you probably want if you're making meals to sell for profit, so it's not like it's a bad node, but if you were just selling them before, they were worth more. So down in the Valencia or Arehaza area, I have exactly one node, which is the Gavinia Volcano Zone for both vanadium and titanium. And I would definitely not recommend picking up these nodes unless you know what you're doing with them. So basically we have like vanadium and titanium. So basically to use for Monos accessories. Even if you have them, it's not cheap to make it. It's just you're making it yourself instead of buying it off the market. It's cheaper, but it's still a lot. So you guys remember those videos of me enhancing Monos accessories? Yeah, that's kind of when I saved up about like 6 months worth of the materials, and then I kind of just processed them all, and then we just went ham enhancing. And yeah, that's probably how I'm going to get more of my Tet accessories, and or we wait another 6 months until it happens. So yeah, that's how I do it. I think we covered all of the mainland. Let's talk about Land of the Morning Light. So obviously this is the new region, and here are some highlights. So Trace of Memory, I'm not even really sure if this node is worth it, but keep in mind every node in the new Morning Light area is 1 CP, which is kind of valuable compared to some of them that are like 3 to 4 plus a connection. And so all of this is kind of worth it. Like here, if you ever needed traces or the embers, the forest crystals, everything, and more crystals, these are 2 valuable ones. Are the drop rates good for it? No, it's actually pretty terrible, and I haven't gotten that many since I put the nodes on day 1. So yeah, we have this connected, more crystals of bitterness. Trace of Savagery is what you really want here. If you need the crystals of, like, let me just show you. Where are they? Yeah, so if you need like these crystals or anything, just buy them off the market. It's not worth making it. You save a little bit of silver by making it, but the rates are so low to the point where if you just need it, just buy it. It's not worth saving the 50 mil or whatever. And yeah, so that's kind of what I have down here. And for here, we have pine timber because timbers are worth a lot. And up here, we have these 2, excavation for Trace of Earth. Honestly, I feel like I could take that out, but Trace of Earth might... You never know when, like, you get rewarded for just holding on to items in this game. I know it sounds like a hoarder mentality, but some days they just kind of like, here, we're going to make this item, but you need all of these random materials that no one's ever used. So when you have like 10,000 of them and you're just like, oh, free money one day. So like, yeah, if you don't know what to do with your CP, just put it on something rather than not putting it on something, if that makes sense. Yeah, more saps over here. Down's connected. And that's basically it. So basically, if you wanted to get an idea of how they're connected, from the middle village, all of these things right here, like in the middle, anything on the right back here is connected to the county node, and this one node is from the village to the island. So I think I covered everything. I think if you're going for your Carrick, some nodes that are important if you are planning on doing any sort of bartering is you kind of want to get the blueprints, because eventually you're going to go for Carrick gear. And you're going to need a lot of Starlight Powders. And of course, well, you don't need a lot of these. You really only need 10 for each of them. But eventually, if you need them, this node, and these 2 nodes over here, basically they give you the blueprints and Starlight Powder and all that stuff. So yeah, you kind of want them. If you need iron for some reason, it's there. I don't think it's a lot of iron, but you can get them, and if you're making a Carrick, you're going to need to invest in these nodes anyway. So I got mine and just took out the node, but it's a pro tip. If you want to make your Carrick, you might want to start farming these a little bit early, and you'll be fine. But yeah, I think that's everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new to the channel, would love to see you come back. Hit that subscribe button. And I usually make videos for beginners, returning players, and people who are just looking to get better at this game. So I didn't have guides to help me when I first started this game. It's been 8 years, and you know, one thing, they actually have this event going on right now where it's like, where is it? Where people can just like find your title for, you know, those gold titles that they're just kind of temporarily giving out. So yeah, it's like a gold title for people who've been playing this game. So yeah, I've been playing this game for almost 8 years, and yeah, I just have a lot of random knowledge of this game that most people would find useless. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love to see you come back. I'll see you tomorrow with other cool videos, and have a fantastic day. Peace.